let's talk about the difference between ideology and petulance. Ideology means that the interpretation of someone else's ideas is taken through the lens of the ideology and is subsequently culturally myopic, rather than being seen through the lens of the person who actually holds that worldview. So let's let's have an imaginary discussion between, say, a Christian and one variety of Satanist. Okay, not really sure which variety it is, but we'll just make the argument. Okay, all right. Also, not sure which variety of either. So we'll just generically do it. When the Virgin Mary was 12, the Archangel Gabriel came to visit her in Galilee and was by her side in her bedroom and said, "You are destined to be the mother of God, and congratulations, that's quite an achievement." And she turned around and said, "Who the fuck are you and what are you doing here?" And then 9 months later, she was wed to Joseph, who was 30 years old, and they went to a place called Bethlehem to register on the census for the Romans, which were occupying the territory at the time, and they had to register a third person who'd just been born in a manger named Joshua. Okay, now let's look at the Christian interpretation. Oh wow, 2,000 years ago, really? Oh, okay. Well, it was a long time ago. The Romans were a long time ago. They probably had to do stuff like that. Okay, so archangels are real, aren't they? Oh, that's really cool. She must have been a good girl, special girl. God chose her for that. She must have been special. Oh, wow. Oh, what a nice thing for an archangel to show up, to show up and stuff like that. I mean, because it was an immaculate conception. Like, it didn't do anything to her. It must have been a magic birth. Okay, here's the Satanist interpretation. She was a fucking 12-year-old. What was someone doing in a bedroom? Like, what the fuck was a 12-year-old doing with a strange man with wings in her bedroom? Who was her parents? Why didn't they flog him? Like, why didn't they drag him out of there and beat the snot out of him? Like, also, why did they marry her off to a 30-year-old? That seems kind of creepy. Why the heck is there a 30-year-old marrying a 12-year-old? Like, why not a 14-year-old? Or another 12-year-old? Like, if they're going to be, like, if they're going to be, like, really, marrying off 12-year-olds, which, by the way, sounds very inappropriate, why would they marry him off to a 30-year-old? And immaculate conception, what are you talking about? Okay, just because a 12-year-old in that time and place probably didn't get sex ed, it doesn't actually mean that. I mean, that could be covering up for an assault, for fuck's sake. Like, was she assaulted? That sounds like rape. Like, that Archangel Gabriel should be probably drawn in court, and also we're a little bit sketchy on the Joseph character. He sounds like he might be a creep, and the parents are woefully negligent. That's concerning. Okay, right. Here's the Muslims' interpretation. Oh no, she wasn't 12. She was definitely 15. She wasn't 12. She was 15. Okay, so Muslims, it was legal then, because that's, for many cultures in ancient times, was actually considered the age of adulthood. It wasn't 21 back then, it was 15, wasn't it? Yeah, she was 15. Okay, she'd already had her periods and was classified as an adult, and had her womanhood training, was classified as an adult. So she was able to be married off to Joseph then, were they, according to those standards? Yeah, she was 15. Nothing creepy happened. And are you of the opinion Joseph was the father? Now, at this point, we can't go any further into Muslim doctrine because the information isn't there. Okay? Right. So, why was the perspective of that being creepy hebephilia classified as Satanism, because in Christianity, if you're not part of their group, you're a Satanist. Right. Now let's go over here for a second. Okay. Why is that a projection onto Christians? Because there's a lot of Christians who acknowledge that atheists don't believe in the devil. And that Hinduism exists, and so does Buddhism, and so does lots of other ideas, as it turns out, and many of them, those worldviews, don't have any devil in them at all. So how could they worship this character Satan if they don't believe it exists? Right. Okay, so there are Christians who argue it. Yeah, there's definitely been Christians that argue that. Okay, right. And there's also been Muslims that argue that, yeah. And Jews as well, yeah. Okay, then. So they deny their own doctrine then. Like, it very clearly states in the Bible, if you're not with Jesus, you're against him. He's a bit like George W. Bush Jr. Anyway, okay, on that subject, hypothetically speaking, would you qualify as the Satan character in the Christian story as being the bad guy? The one that does the bad things and lies all the time? Yes. And would you then qualify 12-year-olds getting knocked up by strange men that show up in the middle of the night as also a bad thing? Yes. Okay, so would you classify what the Archangel Gabriel likely did, whoever they actually were, as devil worship then? Or at the very least satanic behaviour, to use that language? Yes. Like within the context of that particular language group and worldviews, yes, that would qualify. Okay, so the basis of Christianity's rejection of the hebephilia hypothesis is the belief in the Immaculate Conception, is it? Yes. So you have to believe in non-corporeal parenting skills or parenting activities to reject an obvious case of rape. Yes. So the entire condition of not supporting rape involves supporting an imaginary character engaging in some kind of woo-woo, witchy stuff, and ignoring the fact that a 12-year-old had to carry that baby, and that's probably dangerous for them. Yeah. And from the basis of that completely moral society where a 12-year-old could have gotten stoned by the community for said rape, she had to be married off to a 30-year-old to, protect her family's image or something, right? Yes. And that is the basis of moral society, is it? From that, the greatest superhero ever known, to which there is no census record for, is also the basis of the entirety of Western civilization. Yes. So the basis of Western civilization is a 12-year-old gets accosted in her bedroom by a strange man, and an act of hebephilia on someone who doesn't know about the birds and the bees because education wasn't valued in those days. She then is forced to carry an infant when her body isn't ready to do so, and marry someone who is more than twice her age and is well into his adulthood at the age of 30, which, by the way, is a different type of creepy, to prevent her from being murdered, which is in fact the victim of crime in that story. Oh, and how did the Christians improve on that stoning law? They said that if a woman gets raped, the father gets paid a dowry and she has to marry the rapist. Alternatively, if she's already married, then compensation needs to be paid to the husband. And that's actually in the New Testament. Yeah, that's a direct quote from the New Testament. Oh, so here Gabriel raped Mary, then he had to pay some ducats or some talents or something to Mary's parents, right? Yeah. But she went and married Joseph. So does that mean if the New Testament was encoding some previous laws because Jesus was a rabbi, does that mean that what? That the law at the time of Mary, presuming she was even a real character, which she probably wasn't, okay, was that Joseph had raped her, and because he put something there, he had to put a ring on her finger too and pay a dowry to her father. So it wasn't Archangel Gabriel, it was Joseph, wasn't it? Joseph was a creepy 30-year-old man who broke into her bedroom at night, raped her, impregnated her, then paid off her parents a dowry, and that stopped her being stoned for adultery. Oh, that's nice. And they've covered it up by claiming it was an immaculate conception and an archangel from heaven did it. Oh, that's really interesting. Oh, wait, no, sorry, she wasn't 12, she was 15. The Muslims are okay to say that that's actually a story about good people. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. So from that, we have this map, yeah, which isn't the terrain, of course, of not consciousness, of extreme stupidity and realm creation by toxic narcissists who have been using technology invented in the 1970s, as it turns out. A map that was allegedly invented during the Renaissance period. You know when that was? 1,000 years later, because, by the way, the New Testament was written in 400 AD. So, go on. The Kabbalistic map clearly shows illusory correlations and ideas about different sephirot or places where not self-entities are really unidimensional, like they're not complicated things. They're just like program entities that don't actually seem to act like real people at all. They don't seem to learn. They seem to function in accordance with whatever the program for that sephirot is, and they don't actually that system doesn't seem to reflect anything to do with human psychology at all. It seems to be toxic, right? So are you dealing with the Jewish one when you talk about that then, or are you talking about the Thelema one? Well, the Thelema one ripped off that one and put astrology on top of it, basically, and a bunch of other crap. Okay, so the same basic like really piss poor representation of psychology, like if there's not even any psychology at all, it's absolutely garbage, applies in either version. It seems to be like the toxic crap mathematics associated with astrology applies in the Thelema version, right? And in the original Renaissance European Jewish, not other forms of Jewish, version of it, okay, do they by any chance say that the only woman that exists, okay, in the tree of life, tree of death system is Lilith, who lives in Malkuth, and she's the mother of all demons? Is that a Jewish thing, or is that a Crowley thing? We don't know if it's a Jewish thing, but we definitely know it's a Crowley thing. Okay, right, okay. So that toxic misogyny of that particular idea, is that a way to overcome Christianity? So he was talking about toxic misogyny of the hebephilia of mistreating Mary and retreating into Thelema as a way to get away from that toxic misogyny. Are you doing any favors by saying that the only women that exist are demons that live inside a man's asshole called Malkuth? Well, it's technically Malkuth is all the assholes of all the men in the world. Oh, okay then. Yeah. Okay, yeah, because you go to the tree of death after the harvest. So in that practice, a person gets harvested, so they get taken. Their tin can gets opened up, and their spirit gets taken away. And others get taken to them, and they go through the tree of death system. Right, and they have to send them all via Malkuth. And Malkuth is the collective, so they go into the collective mind spaces where there's all the other beings in the world, and some in that case they might also have an Ezekiel wheel, which means they can see the third eyes of everyone else because a person's third eye is their backside. Okay. A person's third eye is their backside, but in this case Ezekiel wheel, everyone's third eye is everyone's backsides, but only the men's backsides, not the women's, because Christianity was partially influenced by Aristotle, which says that women don't have souls in the first place. And also, Kabbalah says that as in Crowley one, we don't know about the other one, says that apparently says that the only woman exists is a demon called Lilith. Oh, okay then. And so the way you climb up the tree of life is to turn them all into the Messiah, to say that men aren't responsible for anything, and a woman's job is to be sacrificed to become to create Jesus out of a man. So the woman gets sacrificed to the 14 houses of Star Lodge. Because that's associated with Masonry and Wicca. Right, okay. So the woman was never a person; she was only a demon, and all her light gets harvested and sent to the men of the Tree of Death, who happen to be the 14 houses of Star Lodge or something. No, there's not 14 Sephiroth in the Tree of Death. No, there's 14. There's 14 places on the Star Lodge. There's the 12 zodiac signs, and there's the sun and the moon. Okay, so the woman gets sacrificed to the 12 signs of zodiac, which are all men, yeah. Oh, okay then. Are you sure there's really 12 of them? Considering the archons or the archangels are actually the 12 planets in astrology, or Western astrology. Well, the 12, they'll be all the ruling planets. So, Kether is referred to as Pluto or Hell. In Crowley's version, that means the top of the tree in the Tree of Life is Hell. And your head is Hell, according to their mappings. Did you know that? Yeah. Oh, okay then. What a nice man. Okay, let's continue then. So how many planets are there in the solar system? Bearing in mind that Earth is not classified as one of the ruling planets in astrology. That's correct. Okay, how many are there? There used to be about probably 8. Okay, well, let's just count them the regular way. Mercury, Venus, Mars, skip Earth, Jupiter. Well, we skipped Earth to get to Mars. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, okay? Yeah. Okay, is Pluto a ruling planet in Western astrology? No. Is the moon a ruling planet? Yeah, the sun and the moon rule. The sun rules Leo and the moon rules Cancer. Okay, alright then. Okay, and Pluto doesn't rule anyone? Pluto doesn't rule anyone. But it's Kether, the head of the Tree of Life. Okay, that's interesting. So there's some inconsistencies in that worldview already. Okay. Right. Well. Okay. Are there any angels in the New Age movement or Kabbalah or whatever it's called, whatever movement it's called, that are female? Yeah, Jophiel. And what does she do? She's the pretty one. Oh, so women are pretty, are they? The only woman that exists, that is only two women exist. One that's literally the creator of all that's everything that's unholy. One that's pretty. Oh, so it's a total fucking dichotomy that hates women. Got it. Okay, totally. They don't have unique personalities of their own. Got it. Well, they do before they're harvested. Like, their job is to be fed to, like, the 12 signs of the zodiac. How many planets was that again? It's not really 12, is it? Well, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, that's 7, Sun, Moon. Okay then. That's 9, not 12. Okay, now the 10th Sephiroth. Is the 10th one Dart? Yeah, they call it Dart. Or the Abyss? Yeah. Does that mean all the other 9 Sephiroths try to push through that fucking hole? Yeah. Oh, right. And is Dart by the chance Malkuth? Dart gets you the Tree of Death. Is Dart the same as Malkuth? Wait, what? Okay, is Dart or the Abyss the same as Malkuth? In other words, all the men's arseholes in the world treat as though that they're in the abyss, or the great hole, where all the demons of hell pass through and start attacking all the light beings of the tree of life, because your head is hell. And the way that a man gets out of that is he does the satanic spellcraft of stealing a woman's identity through harvesting, and then trying to harvesting other women's to feed them to the other 9 archons of astrology to turn the tree of death into the tree of life, right? Yeah. Oh, okay. Why the fuck would that make any sense to anyone? Okay, do you understand how culturally myopic that is? Do you understand that Western astrology is not the actual truth? Do you understand that planets... Let's describe Mercury, okay? Mercury is a small gas ball that's constantly catching on fire because it's too close to the fucking sun. The sun's a giant ball of gas to start off with. Venus likewise does have a rocky interior, but it's so full of noxious gases in its atmosphere that you couldn't pass through it without literally melting like you're going through hydrochloric acid, which you literally fucking are in many cases. Okay, as for Earth, it's not counted in astrology, so won't worry about it. Mars is made from rock. It has no fucking atmosphere, so good luck fucking living there. Okay, and as for Jupiter, it is also a giant gas ball. Likewise, Saturn is a gas ball, and wait a minute, Uranus and Neptune are gas balls as well. Okay, and the moon is just a rock with no atmosphere as well. Okay, really interesting. So, where do the archons live again? Like, how are they meant to live there? They haven't got any surface that's inhabitable, or in some cases any surface at all. Okay, so that map and that terrain is not the same, is it? No, definitely not. Okay. Also, what kind of man would support a worldview like that? Sounds like one that has no respect for other people. Quote unquote, an arsehole. Okay? Let's have a look at this Darvo practice, for example, okay? Darvo means he's claiming it's someone else's crap. He's lying. Lilith is a man. Lilith always was a man. Lilith has never been a woman. Okay? And Jophiel is what existed before the man interfered. Chew on that one. Okay, right. Right. Now, what does Star Lodge try to claim? That there is, the 12 signs of the zodiac and the sun and the moon. Because they have collective mind streams of each star sign. Yeah. And then the two people sitting at the top, the sun one deals with the conscious minds of the entire 12, and the moon deals with the subconscious minds of the entire 12. Yeah. Okay. And are the 12 signs of the zodiac 12 cardinals? Are the collective mind streams that the ability to have collective mind streams associated with snake egregores associated with the Vatican? No, there's more than 12 cardinals. How many cardinals are there in a Vatican conclave? Yeah, the conclave, the one to elect a pope. We just had one recently. We don't actually know their exact number. And how many tribes of Israel are there? There's not 12. There's actually a drastically different number. Okay, and does it say in the book of Moses, or more specifically Exodus, that astrology is a type of divination, therefore it's against Mosaic law? Yes. Okay, so it stands to reason that associating 12 tribes of Israel with the 12 signs of the zodiac is got nothing to do with Judaism or Christianity then. Correct? Okay, and also, was the tree of life or tree of death symbolism ever associated with Christianity or Judaism? No. Where did it come from? Yggdrasil. So it's actually a Norse symbol. Yeah, it's a Norse symbol. Okay, and okay then. And at what point did those particular zodiacal references or astrology get invented by the Norse people? Because weren't the Norse people the ones that talked about Fenrir and Freya and, Odin and crap like that? Yeah. At what point was that astrological? It never was astrological. So you mean to say the Norse people had a tree of life that was not astrological in reference, and their own beliefs in deities or whatever that had no astrological reference, but for some reason the Jews are responsible for the tree of life symbolism, and Crowley's borrowed it and put astrology on top of it, but that's somehow either Jewish or Norse? This isn't making any sense. Okay, let's continue. Oh wait, we don't have to. It's all crap.